Welcome to introducing more 6 Stickman to the team. Gold Stickman Khan, Gold Gem Bonder, Scientist DNA Infused, 17 years old, Stick Hero number 6, Secondary Stickman, and Gold Ow material with Neon Blue Tech Wielder. The brother ores originated before Magenta was born, 5 years ago. Inside mines as unique types that are shiny and glow like crystals. While a magenta skin-colored mom was working at the mines, she saw an unusual glowing type of gold ore. When viewing it, she decided to take it to his lab to analyze it. She tries to again look at it from a different perspective and point of view, but suddenly knew that there was a gem fused with the crystal itself. Magenta's mom went to Magenta's dad's lab and needed to show it to him, but also had the same thing, with a silver version of it and a silver gem inside. They became so amazed that they took both metals inside their house to analyze them further. While in Magenta's parents' house, they were experimenting with silver, ag, and gold Ow metals and what they could use both for some purposes. Looking them over day after day, week after week, and month after month. They were confused about what to make with them, but eventually just made materialistic objects with the metals. And just when they were about to take about the crystals, they mysteriously started floating in the air, glowing even brighter and flying away from the house and its other brother ore into an unknown laboratory space station! That had a color scheme of yellow and blue. The gold ore landed inside there with no alarm setting off and sat with the other unknown substances table the scientists couldn't figure out. It was sitting there for hours, glowing until someone stumbled upon it. Then, finally came a scientist who, after seeing, knows it as a gold element crystal. He takes it to the analyzing lab, showing it off to his peers. They suddenly started asking questions about its origins and where it came from. He said that it just appeared through the ship's TTFUS transporting tube for unknown substances in the main lab. So after the space stick scientists heard him, they placed it into a weird invention called the Stickmanification that turns any object into a Stickman person with all of its limbs. They wanted to see if the gold Ow element would become a Stickman or another failed experiment, and then 2 of the space stick scientists even decided to bet with each other to see whose prediction would be correct. It was trying to transform. 25% of it was completed, and a weird glowing light came upon them. They were multiple intruders entered the space laboratory, and they were UFOs that had stick aliens inside of them. And as the uploading process of gold becoming a Stickman went on, the laboratory became robbed of including the following: information, weapons, chambers, and anything that could give them power. After stealing most of the stuff, they wanted to take one last thing, the gold Ow metal substance crystal from the Stickmanificator chamber. It's 80% complete and nearly transforming. As the stick aliens moved closer toward it, the stick scientists halted them with their space pistols. But aliens fought back with their alien rifles. As they fought head-on with one another, the crystal was slowly making its way to being transformed into 81%, 82%, 83%, 84%, 85%, 90%, 93%, 97%, 99%, and 100%. After progression, the stick aliens knocked some of them unconscious, leaving the crystal vulnerable. But since its finished transformation, it destroys the chamber and releases a giant energy wave that knocks everything around it unconscious, including the aliens. The gold Ow metal element crystal is officially a Stickman, and he finally wakes up from transforming, with no memory of how gold was raised, and actual stick limbs. Looking around the room, there are bodies of stick scientists lying around, exhausted from all that fighting to let the metal transform as soon as possible. Gold walks around looking to see what transformed him, but instead sees stick aliens at the exit of the laboratory. He tries to stop them from leaving, but they ignore him and leave anyway. And after that, Gold vowed retribution against them for their crime of raiding the place. As he was standing around the chamber room planning his revenge, more stick scientists came into the room to see their friends and shocked expressions that there was finally an unknown subject coming out of the Stickmanificator alive. Gold explains to them during his transforming process that he saw a lot of commotion between the aliens and the scientists. But after all that fighting, he assumed seeing the bodies of lying stick scientists meant they fainted. He also said that he was awakened by the aliens' presence after defeating them. Immediately inside, he tries stopping them but becomes ignored. Gold stopped there, ending how this happened. So the stick scientists took the exhausted ones and put them in a medical room, all under fatal conditions. While inside, Gold gave each of them a mark on their foreheads, swearing exact revenge on those stick aliens. The stick scientists were pleased with it. He also asked them if this was the only time they encountered the aliens, and they responded by saying many times in the past, which lost them 35% of their friends to physical harm and 35% of their overall gathered information. Gold wonders how his revenge would go, but first, they decide to guide him to see what it's like in the space laboratory. He saw telescopes, data graphs, charts, weapons, apartments, break rooms, and meeting rooms. He seemed very interested in this place and wanted to learn from it. To start, Gold clumps his academics again so that he has more knowledge, studies outer space and time associated with the laboratory, and even practices with the weapons in secret. But after doing all of that for just a month, Gold wanted to put slightly less time into his academics, and wanted to focus more on his fighting style. For a few seconds, he saw a vision of his brother wielding a silver-handed lightsaber in his right hand and a silver Longinus blaster in his left. He starts to remember his past. He wanted his style to be exactly like his, but with the weapons in swapped positions. So after Gold did study space and science, he told one of the stick scientists to have permission to use the weapon creation room. They allowed, but on one condition. He could only enter in there with a blueprint or sketch of the weapon model, but had one secretly made through his studies. Accepting his drawing, Gold bolted toward the room and immediately started creating them. Throughout the process, he needed some parts to help him complete the projects. First, he took a small piece of a fragment from his gold gem, growing it into a bigger rock-like sphere. He shapes and forms it into Longinus-type gun. The same thing happens with the lightsaber handle. Next, he needed power sources. Again, Gold takes another one, and by using one of the laboratory's chambers, he places it into one, then codes it to activate the electric current, making it flow and grant the small piece of fragment power. It went on for a few minutes, and Gold was waiting for the process to finish. He grabs it out of the chamber, splitting the fragment in half using a halting laser tool. He equalizes it with the Longinus blaster by making a neon energy tank that stores up its ammunition. Then with the lightsaber handle he places the other half fragment in the middle, and by pressing the button, it releases a neon blue laser. Gold is finally finished with his weaponry, and announces his success to the other stick scientists. They're amazed to see how it was made and took one look closer at his projects by testing them out. The stick scientists and Gold head into the test room and practice with Gold's weapons. First test, Gold's lightsaber. The stick scientists set up holographic dummies for him to defeat, so Gold holds it in his left hand due to his crystal having slight left-leaning spikes, slicing them up and apart and also using kick attacks, leaving flawless results. The stick scientists were amazed and applauded for the performance. Second test, Gold's Longinus gun. The stick scientists set up holographic dummies again for him to defeat using his own Longinus blaster. He shoots perfect headshots through their heads with such powerful beams. The stick scientists were amazed and applauded for the performance a second time. And down to the final one, the third test, Gold's Longinus gun and lightsaber. The stick scientists set up holographic dummies for the last time that are also armed, making it more challenging for him to defeat using both weapons equally. Gold was evading and counterattacking all of them one by one, proving his strength. He passes his tests and is now prepared to take on the stick aliens. As everyone was sleeping for tomorrow, Gold was staring out the window of the space laboratory one last time, hoping for vengeance. Today is here. The day that will begin a war between the stick scientists and stick aliens. Gold explains the plan about how they'll get inside their main UFO. How he found the main version commanding all other clones to attack their station was he took a picture of where they were coming from. In step 1, some of the stick scientists will distract the main ship by having defenders at the space laboratory's windows shoot at the ship. Step 2, the rest and Gold will move into a space pod and fly toward the main UFO. Step 3, more distraction acts come in, and the other stick scientists who were with him have to hold off all defending stick aliens who come toward them for as long as possible. Final step, he will move into the main core of the ship and destroy it, ending the aliens for good and escaping back to the pod. With all plans set up, they prepare the weapons, armor, and space pod. So every stick scientist who lived and worked at the laboratory will have a role to play in. The main UFO arrives close to the space laboratory and all the stick scientists rush toward the entrance with powered-up space rays, blasting down the alien invaders. Gold and 4 other stick scientists head toward the pod and fly in the secret entrance that looks like where the UFOs get out of. Gold and they charged into the place, killing over half the aliens who fought them. As they went into the lobby, he tells them to stay there so Gold can go after the power source and disable the ship without extra detection. He runs into the engine room downstairs where the ship is powered and usually runs into a pack of stick aliens looking to dispose of him. Even despite having 50 of them against him, he just slices through them and blasts them down like an absolute warrior. After a few minutes of running the engine room maze, Gold finally makes it into the power source and tries slashing it rapidly, but has no effect. He instead tries a heavy slash and seemed to make a crack in the force field protecting it. repeatedly heavily blowing it over and over. Finally breaks, but because Gold's exhausted, he couldn't deliver the final blow and instead delivered the final shot, causing the engine room to start on fire and explode. Gold ran as fast as he could despite his exhaustiveness holding him back, shooting down any aliens blocking the exit and successfully making it back to the pod. They flew from the main UFO that was on fire and finally exploded. With this sense of victory, Gold has also successfully avenged his fainted creators. The evil ship has exploded, never to be heard of again. The space laboratory celebrates this victory by throwing a huge party inside the main lobby. There were balloons, confetti, and food. While Gold was eating, his gems started shining and communicating with him about what it takes to catch criminals to pay their price and show true pride taking in his academics and physical protection, and that he can join the PowerPoint Stickman team to balance out lifestyles. Gold told everyone that he will sadly be leaving to join a worthy team, and could come back later to visit if he wants. So before he left, his closest friends of him have going away for gifts such as a gold backpack, gold and neon cyan binoculars, and more of his elemental metal source. Gold waved goodbye to all his fellow members, and jumps through the portal made by the gem, 17 years through time. This is how he became the 6th member of the team. He spawns through a forest, but it's very dark outside. In a split second, he was secretly injected and captured by a special someone. His last memories before passing out were about how he was picked up and experimented on by a magenta skin-colored person and his brother, Silver, who could have kidnapped him. Being secret family members, are they real or not?